First Contact Protocol. The research vessel Stellar Seeker drifted silently at the edge of the Sol system, its advanced cloaking systems rendering it invisible to primitive Earth technologies. Chief Observer Nixis stood before the ship's primary viewing screen, her crystalline form refracting the soft blue light of Earth in the distance. After 300 cycles of observation, something had changed. Anomalous reading detected in Sector 7, announced Second Observer Krell, his tentacles dancing across the neural interface, energy signatures unlike anything in our database. Nixis moved closer to the display, her crystalline structure vibrating with concern. The humans weren't supposed to be capable of this, not yet. According to all predictive models, they were still centuries away from achieving quantum harmonics. "Show me the temporal comparison," she ordered. The screen split, showing Earth's technological progression over the past century. The line representing human advancement wasn't following the standard logarithmic curve seen in other species. Instead, it shot upward at an almost vertical angle. "Impossible," whispered First Science Officer Zendra, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with agitation. "No species progresses this rapidly without outside intervention." But they had been watching. There had been no intervention. The humans had done this on their own. "Play the latest intercept," Nixis commanded. The ship's AI compiled the most recent broadcasts from Earth's scientific facilities. Fragments of conversations filled the chamber. Quantum tunneling effect stabilized. Neural interface successfully bridging synthetic and organic. Mars colony construction ahead of schedule. Each announcement sent ripples of unease through the observation team. Humans weren't just advancing. They were advancing in multiple fields simultaneously. Most species focused on one technology at a time, mastering it before moving forward. Humans seemed to throw themselves at every challenge at once, somehow managing to progress in all directions. "They've detected the quantum wake from our last passage," Krall reported suddenly, his tentacles contracting in alarm. "Their instruments shouldn't be capable of." "But they are," Nixis interrupted. She had seen enough. "Contact the Council. Initiate First Contact Protocol Alpha 7. The crew fell silent. Alpha 7 was reserved for potentially dangerous situations where a species might discover interstellar civilization before they were ready. Chief Observer, Zendra began cautiously. "According to regulations, we should simply relocate our observation position and—" "The regulations were not written with humans in mind," Nixis stated firmly. "Look at these readings. They're not just detecting our presence. They're already theorizing about the principles behind our cloaking technology. If we move, they'll track us. If we stay hidden, they'll find us. Our only option is to control the revelation." As if to emphasize her point, a new alert flashed across the screen. The humans had just successfully tested their first rudimentary quantum communication device. The achievement had come decades before any predictive model had deemed possible. "Send the message," Nixis ordered. "Standard first contact format. All Earth languages simultaneously." As the crew prepared the transmission, Nixis studied the blue planet with growing concern. In all her cycles as chief observer, she had never encountered a species like this. Most civilizations followed predictable patterns of development, taking the necessary time to fully understand and integrate each new technology. Humans seemed to operate on intuitive leaps, somehow grasping concepts they shouldn't yet comprehend. The message was sent, broadcasting across all Earth frequencies. "People of Earth, we come in peace. We are representatives of the Galactic Council, and we have been observing your development. Your recent technological achievements have demonstrated your readiness for first contact. We request a diplomatic meeting with your world leaders." The response came faster than anyone expected. Humans from every nation responded with enthusiasm, not fear. Where other species typically reacted to first contact with religious awe or terror, the humans displayed primarily curiosity. "They're excited," Krall noted incredulously. "They've just learned they're not alone in the universe, and they're excited." "No," Nixis corrected, her crystalline form dimming slightly. They're not just excited. They're already analyzing our transmission to understand our technology. Look at their communications. Indeed, Earth's scientific communities were ablaze with activity, breaking down every aspect of the alien transmission, theorizing about the technology behind it, and already proposing improvements to their own systems based on their observations. As the Stellar Seeker prepared for the first official meeting with Earth's representatives, Nixis composed her report to the Council. How could she explain what they had discovered? How could she convey that they had found a species that didn't just learn and adapt, but seemed to thrive on the very process of discovery itself? The final line of her report would set off alarms throughout the Council. We have encountered a species that does not wait to understand the impossible before attempting it. They don't progress despite their limitations. They progress because they refuse to accept that limitations exist. Recommend immediate diplomatic integration. The humans will reach the stars with or without our guidance. Better to be there when they do. As Earth's first official delegation prepared to board the Stellar Seeker, Nixis watched their approach with a mixture of fascination and apprehension. The humans had insisted on using their own spacecraft for the initial meeting, a vehicle that by all reasonable standards should barely be capable of lunar orbit. Yet here it was, smoothly matching course with a vastly superior alien vessel, its pilots adapting to completely foreign physics with remarkable ease. The third planet had produced something unprecedented, a species that treated the impossible as merely another problem to be solved. The galaxy would never be the same. The adaptive species. Senior xenobiologist Verix couldn't stop her tentacles from twitching as she reviewed the latest data from Earth. The holographic display before her showed environmental readings that defied conventional wisdom about habitable conditions. Her research station, orbiting Earth's moon, had been gathering data for 3 standard cycles since first contact, and each new finding raised more questions than answers. "Doctor, you need to see this," called her assistant Marin, his crystalline form pulsing with excitement. The humans just completed their deep-sea research mission. Verix glided over to his station, her anti-grav stabilizers compensating for her agitation. The footage showed human scientists emerging from a submersible vessel nearly 3 kilometers beneath Earth's ocean surface. They had spent 2 weeks in crushing pressures that would have killed most known sentient species instantly. "They're treating it like a minor accomplishment," Marin noted, his crystal facets flickering in disbelief. According to their reports, they're already planning a deeper expedition. Verix's primary sensory nodes throbbed. She had been trying to understand human adaptability since her assignment began, but their casual approach to extreme conditions still stunned her. A notification flashed across her screen. Another human team was attempting to scale one of Earth's highest mountains without environmental suits. "Pull up the atmospheric composition analysis," she ordered. The numbers appeared instantly, and not for the first time. Verix wondered if there had been some mistake. Earth's atmosphere was a volatile mix of gases that would be lethal to 70% of Council species. Yet humans not only survived in it, they thrived. "New data from the Mars colony," Marin announced. "They've successfully adapted their agriculture to Martian soil conditions. Crop yields are exceeding projections by 47%. Verix felt her chromatophores pulse with stress colors. The Mars colony was perhaps the most dramatic example of human adaptability. When the Council had revealed its presence, humans had already established a permanent settlement on Mars, a planet that by all reasonable standards should have been far too hostile for their level of technology. "Show me the genetic comparison," she requested. The display shifted to show human DNA alongside other known spacefaring species. Human genetic code showed an unusual degree of plasticity, an ability to adapt to environmental changes that far exceeded theoretical limits. "Doctor," Marin's voice carried an edge of concern. "The Arctic research team is reporting success with their cold weather adaptation protocols." The display showed humans working in temperatures that should have been fatal, their bodies somehow adjusting to conditions that would require extensive environmental protection for most species. They had dubbed it cold adaptation training, as if lethal environments were simply another challenge to overcome. They're doing it deliberately, Varix realized, her tentacles coiling tightly. They're not just surviving extreme conditions, they're intentionally exposing themselves to harsher environments to force adaptation. A new alert caught her attention. The Lunar Medical Center was reporting the results of their latest study on human healing capabilities. Varix read the report with growing amazement. Humans could recover from injuries that would be fatal to most species, their bodies regenerating damaged tissue at rates that seemed to defy biological limitations. Compile all data on human physical adaptation ranges, she ordered. Temperature tolerance, pressure resistance, radiation adaptation, everything. As the information appeared before her, Varix felt her professional detachment slipping. The numbers couldn't be right, yet repeated tests confirmed them. Humans could survive in conditions ranging from Arctic cold to desert heat, from sea level to high altitude, from Earth normal gravity to the partial gravity of Mars. More importantly, they could adapt to these changes within timeframes that should have been impossible. Send in priority update to the Council, Varix decided. They need to understand what we're dealing with. Her report was stark in its implications. The species from the third planet demonstrates adaptation capabilities that exceed all known biological models. They appear to thrive on environmental challenges, deliberately seeking out hostile conditions to test and expand their adaptation ranges. More concerning, they are actively working to enhance these capabilities through both technological and biological means. Traditional models for species development cannot be applied to humans. They are not merely surviving in their challenging environment. They are using it as a forge to strengthen themselves. Every obstacle we would expect to limit their expansion appears instead to drive them to adapt and overcome. Most critically, they are now aware of the broader galaxy and its dangers. Based on observed patterns, this knowledge will likely accelerate their drive to adapt to any environment they might encounter. Recommendation: immediate revision of all protocols regarding human interaction and expansion potential. We are not dealing with a species that adapts to survive. We are dealing with a species that survives because it can adapt to anything. As Varix finished her report, another notification appeared. The humans had just announced plans for their first interstellar expedition. They weren't waiting for council approval or assistance. They had simply decided it was time to reach the stars, and they were adapting their technology and biology to make it possible. The third planet had produced more than just an adaptable species. It had created a form of life that saw every hostile environment as a challenge to overcome, every lethal condition as a problem to solve. The galaxy wasn't ready for what was coming. The innovation paradox. Chief Technology Analyst Zixven paced the length of the orbital research station's main laboratory, all 6 of his sensory appendages twitching with agitation. The holographic displays surrounding him showed the impossible. Again, humans had just broken another fundamental law of physics, and they had done it with technology that by all rights shouldn't even function. "Play the test footage again," he commanded. The AI complied, showing the recent human experiment in quantum entanglement manipulation. They had achieved instantaneous communication across 12 light-years using equipment that looked cobbled together from spare parts. "Their methodology makes no sense," muttered First Engineer Tillara, her crystalline form clouded with confusion. "They're violating at least 3 fundamental principles of quantum mechanics. Yet somehow it works," Zixven finished. That was the maddening part. Human technology consistently defied theoretical limitations, not because humans understood why they shouldn't work, but because they simply hadn't accepted that they couldn't work. A priority alert flashed across his screen. The humans' newest fusion reactor design had just come online. It was achieving efficiency levels that the Council's best scientists had deemed impossible without at least another century of research. The humans had done it in under a decade. "How are they doing this?" Tillara asked, examining the reactor schematics. "Their containment field design violates basic plasma physics. The magnetic bottleneck should collapse immediately." "But it doesn't," Zixven noted. Just like their quantum communications shouldn't work, just like their gravity manipulation systems shouldn't work, just like half their technologies shouldn't work. He pulled up the complete database of human technological development since first contact. The progression was chaotic, nonlinear, and completely unlike anything seen in other species. Where most civilizations develop technologies in a logical sequence, carefully building upon established principles, humans seem to jump randomly between fields, making breakthrough after breakthrough through what they called intuitive leaps. New data from their AI research division, announced the station's computer. Zix-Ven felt his chromatophores pulse with stress as he reviewed the information. The humans had developed a new form of artificial consciousness by accident. They had been trying to improve their coffee makers. They're not following any recognizable development pattern, Tellara observed, her crystalline structure vibrating with concern. Look at this. They developed faster-than-light theory while working on a children's toy. They discovered a new form of matter while trying to make better spacecraft hull material. Zix-Ven moved to the central display, bringing up the analysis of human problem-solving methods. The data showed something unprecedented. Humans didn't solve problems linearly. They approached challenges from multiple angles simultaneously, often finding solutions through seemingly unrelated experiments. They're calling it lateral thinking, he explained. They deliberately look for connections between unrelated fields, and when they find a solution that works, they don't stop to fully understand why it works before building upon it. A new alert demanded his attention. The humans had just announced a breakthrough in biological computing. They had somehow merged organic neural networks with quantum processors, creating a hybrid system that defied classification. Add it to the database, Zix-Ven sighed. Cross-reference with all known technological development patterns. The computer's response was immediate. No matches found. Human innovation pattern remains unique among known species. Tellara's crystalline form flickered with sudden realization. They're not just developing technology, she said slowly. They're playing with it. Look at their research methodologies. Half their breakthroughs come from what they call seeing what happens. Zix-Ven felt a chill run through his neural network. She was right. Humans approach technology with an almost childlike curiosity, unbound by conventional limitations or established theories. They didn't wait to fully understand a principle before trying to apply it in new ways. Prepare a priority report for the Council, he ordered. His message was brief but alarming. The humans' approach to technological development represents an unprecedented paradigm. They do not follow the established patterns of scientific advancement. Instead, they innovate through a process that appears random but produces consistent breakthroughs. Most critically, they view our most advanced technology not as something to be revered or carefully studied, but as a starting point for their own innovations. They are already improving upon Council designs, finding applications we never considered. Traditional metrics for technological advancement cannot be applied to humans. They do not progress in a linear fashion, nor do they wait to fully understand their discoveries before building upon them. Every piece of technology they encounter becomes a tool for further innovation, regardless of its original purpose. Recommendation: immediate establishment of a dedicated task force to monitor and assess human technological development. We must understand their innovation process before they develop something truly dangerous through their unorthodox methods. As Zix-Ven finished his report, another alert lit up his display. The humans had just successfully tested their first self-designed faster-than-light drive. They hadn't followed any of the established development protocols. They had simply decided it should be possible and kept experimenting until it worked. The third planet hadn't just produced a technologically capable species. It had created innovators who saw the impossible as a temporary inconvenience, who treated fundamental laws of physics as mere guidelines. The galaxy's technological landscape would never be the same. Warriors of peace. Military observer Kraltext stood motionless in the observation deck of the Galactic Council's Earth Embassy, his armored exoskeleton reflecting the dawn light breaking over the horizon. He was watching a human military exercise, and what he saw disturbed him deeply. "They're training for failure," he noted to his assistant, Venra, whose crystalline form sparkled with confusion. "Clarify," Venra requested, focusing her sensors on the scene below. "Watch their emergency protocols," Kraltex explained. "They're deliberately practicing what to do when their primary weapons fail, when their technology breaks down, when their plans go wrong. They're training to fight with inferior weapons, with no weapons, with improvised tools." A new alert drew their attention. The humans were conducting another space rescue drill. They were practicing recovering damaged vessels using nothing but basic tools and minimal power, creating solutions with whatever materials they had on hand. "Review the combat simulation data," Kraltex ordered. The holographic display filled with analysis of human military tactics. Unlike any other known species, humans didn't rely solely on technological superiority. They trained extensively for scenarios where they had technological disadvantages. "This makes no sense," Venra observed, her crystalline structure vibrating with confusion. "They possess advanced energy weapons, yet they maintain proficiency with primitive projectile weapons. They have quantum communications, yet they practice hand signals and radio backups." "That's not even the most concerning part," Kraltex said, pulling up another display. "Look at their civilian population." The screen showed ordinary humans practicing emergency preparedness, learning basic combat skills, studying survival techniques. They weren't warriors, yet they maintained warrior knowledge. They weren't soldiers, yet they preserved military skills. "New data from their Mars Defense Force," announced the station's eye. Kraltex reviewed the information with growing unease. The humans had developed their colonial defense protocols not just for known threats, but for every conceivable scenario they could imagine. "They're preparing for everything," he realized. "Not just likely threats, they're preparing for impossible scenarios, for threats that don't even exist yet." A priority message flashed across his screen. The humans had just completed another peaceful first contact simulation. But unlike other species' diplomatic exercises, the human version included protocols for both best and worst-case scenarios. "They call themselves a peaceful species," Venra noted, "yet they maintain this constant state of preparation for conflict." "That's what makes them unique," Kraltex responded. "They don't prepare for war because they want it. They prepare for war to preserve peace." He brought up the historical records. Throughout human history, their greatest warriors had often been those who sought peace most fervently. Their most effective defenders were those who understood the cost of conflict most deeply. "They're not warriors who accept peace," he explained. "They're peacekeepers who maintain warrior knowledge. The distinction is crucial." Another alert demanded attention. The humans had just unveiled their new orbital defense system. It was simultaneously a shield and a research tool, designed to protect Earth while studying the cosmos. Even their defensive technologies served dual purposes. "Compile all data on human military doctrine," Kraltex ordered. The resulting analysis painted a picture that defied conventional understanding. Humans didn't follow any recognized pattern of military development. They maintained cutting-edge technology alongside primitive weapons, advanced tactics alongside basic combat skills. His report to the Council reflected this complexity. "The species from Earth represents a paradox in military terms. They are fundamentally peaceful, yet maintain unprecedented combat readiness. They seek diplomatic solutions while preparing for conflict. They hope for the best while training for the worst. Most critically, their approach to defense encompasses all possible scenarios, not just probable ones. They develop contingency plans for situations that have never occurred and may never occur. They maintain multiple layers of defensive capabilities, from the most advanced technology to the most basic survival skills. Traditional military assessment models cannot be applied to humans. They are not a warrior species, yet they possess warrior capabilities. They are not a militant society, yet they maintain military readiness. They do not seek conflict, yet they are always prepared for it. Recommendation: Reconsideration of all standard protocols regarding species classification and threat assessment. The humans do not fit any existing category. As Kraltex finished his report, he received notice of a new human initiative. They were establishing a joint defense force with several council species, offering to share their unique approach to military preparedness. The third planet hadn't just produced another spacefaring race. It had created a species that understood a fundamental truth. True peace comes not from the absence of conflict, but from the readiness to defend it. The galaxy's approach to peace and security would never be the same. The third planet's children. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had never been so quiet. High Counselor Zixvar stood before the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds, the data crystals containing the final assessment of humanity glowing softly in all four of his hands. "We face an unprecedented situation," he began, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. "In all our history of encountering new species, we have never seen anything like the inhabitants of Earth." The holographic displays activated, showing scenes from human history and achievement. Their rapid technological advancement, their extraordinary adaptability, their paradoxical approach to peace and war, their chaotic but effective innovation. In just 5 cycles since first contact, Zixvar continued, they have not only matched but improved upon technologies that took other species centuries to master. They have established colonies in environments we deemed uninhabitable. They have solved problems we thought unsolvable. Senior analyst Maya Wren floated forward, her gaseous form swirling with concern. The data suggests they will achieve full galactic expansion capability within 2 cycles, she reported. Their rate of advancement continues to accelerate. They are already proposing modifications to our existing faster-than-light technology. The chamber erupted in murmurs. Improving council technology was unprecedented. Most new species spent decades or centuries simply learning to use existing galactic technology. That is not all, Zixvar added. They are sharing their knowledge freely. Their approach to innovation, their adaptive capabilities, their defensive preparations, they offer it all to any species willing to learn. The displays shifted to show human collaboration with various council species. Humans teaching their problem-solving methods, sharing their survival techniques, demonstrating their technological innovations. "The question before us is clear," Zixvar stated. "Do we embrace humanity's influence on galactic society, or do we attempt to contain it?" Chief Security Director Kralven moved forward, his battle-scarred exoskeleton gleaming. "Containment is not possible," he declared. "They have already demonstrated the ability to overcome any obstacle we might place in their path. More importantly, they have shown no hostility, no aggression, only an endless desire to explore, learn, and share." The displays showed human responses to various crises across council space. They had helped evacuate a doomed colony world, developed a cure for a devastating plague, and found solutions to problems that had stumped council experts for generations. "They are not what we expected," Medical Director Varix added, her tentacles moving in complex patterns. "They do not follow our patterns of development, our rules of advancement, our concepts of limitation. But perhaps that is exactly what the galaxy needs." Zixvar raised all 4 hands for silence. "We have 3 options before us," he announced. "First, we can attempt to contain humanity's influence, though our analysts agree this would likely fail. Second, we can maintain the current policy of careful observation and limited interaction. Or third," he paused, his inner eyelids blinking rapidly, "we can fully embrace humanity's participation in galactic society, accepting that they will change us as much as we change them." The chamber erupted in debate. Some representatives argued for caution, citing humanity's unpredictability. Others advocated for full integration, pointing to the benefits humans had already brought to the galaxy. Finally, ancient observer Kex Trull, one of the oldest living beings in the council, moved to the center of the chamber. The room fell silent. The ancients rarely spoke at council meetings. "We fear the humans," Kex Trull began. because they show us what we have forgotten. They show us that limitations are often self-imposed, that impossibility is often just a lack of imagination. They remind us of what we once were, before we became bound by our own rules and expectations. The displays showed humanity's latest achievement, a way to rehabilitate dead worlds, bringing life back to planets long abandoned as uninhabitable. The third planet, Kextral continued, has given us not just another spacefaring race, but a mirror to see ourselves anew. The humans do not break our laws of physics. They show us that our understanding of those laws was incomplete. They do not defy our rules of development. They show us that our rules were too rigid. Zixvar felt the mood of the chamber shift. The fear was being replaced by something else. Hope. The vote is cast, he announced finally. By an overwhelming majority, the Council chooses full integration. The humans will be welcomed as full partners in galactic society. As the Council session ended, Zixvar added a final note to the official record. The species from Earth has shown us that the galaxy is far more wonderful and strange than we imagined. They have taught us that our limitations were largely self-imposed, that our boundaries were mainly self-created. They have reminded us that the universe is not just to be observed and studied, but to be explored and challenged. The third planet has given us more than just another member species. It has given us back our sense of wonder, our spirit of adventure, our drive to exceed our own expectations. The galaxy will never be the same, and that perhaps is exactly what we needed. As the message was recorded, news of the Council's decision reached Earth. Humanity's response was characteristically enthusiastic. They immediately proposed a galactic cultural exchange program and began planning improvements to the Council's communication network. The children of the third planet were ready to take their place among the stars, not as students of galactic civilization, but as teachers of possibility. The age of limitation was over. The age of wonder had begun.